Order of the Pleasant Grove City Council on this Tuesday, September the 17th, 2019. And I'm Mayor Guy Fugel, and I welcome all of the council that is here this evening. We're all present and accounted for, along with our city staff and our directors and our police and fire chief. Thank you for all being here, and we welcome all you. We haven't had this big of a turnout in this building since we've opened it up, so we welcome you all here this evening. We'd like to start this evening with a Pledge of Allegiance being given by one of our Boy Scouts, Garrett Robinson, after which we've asked Brent Bullock to come forward and give us our opening remarks. So Garrett, would you come forward?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Garrett and Brent. Appreciate that. We would now like an approval of tonight's meeting agenda.
Mayor, I discussed it just 9B.
Yeah, everything's fine, just 9B, it needs to be continued to October 1st.
Okay, so Mayor, I make a motion to approve tonight's agenda, moving 9B to October 1st.
And I second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah. Any opposed? Passes unanimously. Well, now we'll move on to our open session this evening. Would like to give anyone who has come this evening 3 minutes to come forward and address the council. And we understand that our Garrett would like to come forward first and talk about his Eagle Scout project.
Yeah, just put it on the side right there, and then the camera can see him and the, yeah, perfect. Garrett, is that light on? Is that green light on the mic? Okay, and then just talk right into the,
It doesn't sound
is
like
that,
it's working.
okay, test it.
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
Very good.
Okay. Hi, my name is Garrett Robinson, and I'm 13 years old, and I am 7th grader at PG Junior High. I am working on my Eagle project. What we are doing on my maintenance, maintenance on the G, like cutting back oak foliage that's crowding the trail, cutting back rebar poking up, and cleaning out pipes. The reason why I'm doing this is because we are sending professionals up there to redo the G. The job entails 4 work sections, each with very specific jobs and specific numbers of people in each group. We are planning on 100+ people who want to get involved, like families, friends, my scout group, the high school, the student council, sport groups, and coaches, seminary council, and administration. And I'm hoping the city council will get involved as well. The Eagle project is on Saturday, September 28th at 7 a.m. And this is my board.
Always got a pointer.
This is Kiwanis Park, where you're all going to get beat up. Here's the rest bucket that's mostly beat up. I have 4 different sections. The first section is the yellow group, which is going to be rebar 1 and rebar 2, which need to be cut down. Also, group number 1 the city route till the ditch tower, and in between that, you have to do pipe 1 and pipe 2 that need to be cleaned out. Also, the oak foliage too. On this side for group number 2, which is the green group, is from ditch tower to the gate sticks that they blocked off. In between that is a rebar 3, also oak foliage 2. On the last section, which is group 3, which is blue, it's from gate sticks to the G. In between that is pipe number 3, which also needs to be cleaned out, and also oak foliage. Thank you for listening, my project. Any questions?
Okay, well done. That was awesome.
Wow.
Wow. So can they come, what is the end time on September 28th? Like, do they have to be there right at 7? Can they kind of come anytime during the day? How long are you expecting to be there?
If you're signed up, then you could come at 7. All you gotta do is just text my mom if you what specific job you want, and if you have a specific job, then come at 7 because we'll need you. If you don't have a job, you can just come in. We'll have a sign up sheet that if you couldn't text my mom, you just come in and there's a sign up sheet that says just a register in. So it's like a walk-in register thing if you didn't have time.
That's awesome. As part of the improvements, can you pave the trail and make it less steep?
Don't listen to that.
What can we do as a city to help you? Besides being involved that day, can we post it on our social media?
Yes, post it on social media.
Okay.
Anything to get it on anything.
Get the word out?
And the number one thing I'm really wanting is to get more Fest, like for make a donation.
Okay.
That shit on the paper, because we really need it, so we know who's working on the trail or not. And also, we had a good idea, also for the people who go up to light the G at night, PG, like win the state championship or something. They can
Not if, when? When?
When?
When?
Volleyball
when they
29.
win.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Garrett. Okay, proceed.
hiking up there, they can wear orange vest because
It's a safety issue at night. Yeah.
and then, because since it's October and September, it's muzzle loading season and also rifle shooting season, so I don't know, because there's gonna be idiots up there.
It's true. Yeah.
You're okay, Garrett. You're okay, Garrett. You're okay.
Now ruined his chance to be on city council.
Hey, Garrett, who, on your trail management and building, who's helping you with that?
So that one more time.
Who's helping with your trails and the management?
Oh, I forgot to mention that. So each section, there's gonna be plus 25 people.
Uh-huh.
Which we need in each section. But if there's more people coming, then we just keep splitting them up into different.
There's a guy sitting behind your mom back there that's really knowledgeable on trails.
Probably the best in the state.
Yeah. And you may want to touch base with him.
Absolutely.
So, okay.
His name's Jason Cowley.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can help push it on our social media. The council will try and be there that day. Eric is the president of our Chamber of Commerce for Pleasant Grove, and this would be a great thing that he could, get out to our local businesses, maybe for donations, and we can help spread the word that way. Anything else? Because you put a lot of time and effort, and this is definitely
Yes.
needed for the G, because we want to make it safe for people. Anything else you need? Okay, awesome.
I'll reach out because we have the water and the Powerade. We can help you with that. Okay.
We have
Sorry, Reese? Okay. Our
Reese is
garbage
with the
guys want
Public
to help.
Services.
so.
There are waste and recycling here in the city, so thank you, Reese.
And also, I kind of wanted to do a big project before scouting, the church leaves scouting. So I kind of wanted just to do the G.
Love it. That's awesome.
It's a big project.
Hey, you
So,
know what?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
G for Garrett. How's that?
Wow.
There's going to be a lot of G's in that paper.
That's okay. That's okay. But you know what? It'll remind us of you. So, and the time and effort you're putting into this. So,
And Dion thought it was for Giles.
yeah.
No.
So Dion's also a very good resource. Has Dion helped you at all with?
Yes, he's helping me with, my mom, well, I was actually gonna do the tiles of the G, but my mom and my mom's dad and Dion went up there and I was gonna do it, but Dion said it's too dangerous for like anyone to get up there. So I had a good idea, what if we did the trail, so the professionals who go up there can safely get up there.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah. We can't fix the G if they don't have a safe way to get up. So, that's exactly right.
Well done.
Thanks, Garrett.
Thank you. And, okay, 28th, Sid and Diana, 7 a.m. I'll see you there, okay?
All right.
We'll
Not,
be
I'll
there.
be calling you. Okay. Is there anyone else who'd like to come forward? I don't think you're going to beat that one, but you're more welcome to come forward. Oh.
Wait, say your name so everyone knows who you are.
Oh, yes.
My name is Karen Christensen, and I was Miss Pleasant Grove 2018. So it's been a minute, but I've had some time to reflect on my whole experience, and I just want to say how grateful I am for all of you guys, and all of you guys as well, but I totally couldn't have done it without you. It takes a village, so. Now to the pies. I did a jail and bail fundraiser as Miss Pleasant Grove as I was raising money for Children's Medical Network hospitals. And so I did a little bit of a contest, and our mayor won that contest. So
Wow.
whole pie to himself, but I also brought another one for you all to share.
Thank you. Well done, Mayor.
You guys get to share the other one.
Man, fix the G,
Wonderful.
get pie. What else is?
It's a good night.
What a great night.
You guys, this normally doesn't happen at City Council. So don't think that you're coming and this. This is what
Taryn, you can leave the
For
pie
many years,
over
they were
here
throwing
if
the
you
pies
want.
at us.
It's a good
Well-
thing-
well
it's good-
done, Mayor.
It's a good thing Paul is out of town. That's all I got to say.
Well,
I know
we'll
what
see
I'm
if he
gonna have
makes
for
it out here with his
breakfast,
own
too,
pie.
tonight.
Oh, and Taryn, you were absolutely a delightful representative of us.
Yes, you were.
Sid and I will take
Yes,
care
you
of
were.
of this. No, don't
No,
listen.
Scott,
got
no, no.
Got it. Thank you so much.
And then I also
Oh, wow.
You.
Thank you.
Well, we're thanking you because you did an amazing job representing our community.
So tell us, what are you doing now?
So now I am working for the Linden Police Department still, and I'm studying criminal justice at UVU.
Okay.
And I'm also
Cheer. Okay.
That's awesome.
Very
so
good.
I'm still involved. You guys won't turn me in. I want to come help with the G. So.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll take
So
you.
at on the 28th at 7,
Yeah.
the mayor will text you.
No. Just you.
Okay. Oh, beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Very nice.
awesome.
Here's also your tax receipt.
Oh, hey.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Thank you guys so much.
You know, it was a wonderful year.
It was a yes.
It was like, okay, I know we do have a new queen, but we kind of like, where's the queen? But it was great. Thank you.
It was very
It's
good.
such good memories, so, thank you.
Thank you, and thank you,
Thank you,
Mom.
Taryn.
You bet.
She's not gonna brag, but I will. So she competed at Miss Utah in June, and there were 3 areas that you could work on before. Taryn won 2 of them and came in second on the 3rd. She just killed it at Miss Utah.
She did.
It was such an amazing experience. She will be going to Guatemala next May because she collected over 11,000.
Oh,
Pairs of
really?
shoes.
11,000?
The shoes.
Wow.
She raised $8,600 for Children's Miracle Network, and she sold a lot of advertising in the book, and her beautiful face was all over that book. But anyway, it was a fantastic year
Experience.
from a family perspective as well.
Yeah.
Very much. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Well, again, way to represent Pleasant Grove. That's awesome.
They're gone. They were being sold for souls in our garage.
Yeah.
They were in the basement of Irma. Little plug for you
So Taryn, are you still doing the indoor surfing, and are you still doing the Tahitian dance?
Yes.
Still teach and dance. I don't go to the classes as much anymore, but I still plan to do it a little bit on my own time. It's a good way that I like to work out. And then, as far as surfing, I still surf. I haven't competed this last year because I was so busy with Miss Golden Grove and Miss Utah. Not sure if I'm gonna get back into it.
Well, you need to. For those of you who
Taryn-
don't know, she
oh.
did the indoor
Yes.
wave riding,
Yeah.
the surfing. It was awesome, and you just don't see a lot of females doing that. So I think that was awesome. And then the Tahitian dancing. So that's just cool.
And your evening. Yeah. So your evening gown was absolutely spectacular. It was
Yeah.
memorable. Anyway.
Thank you.
You. Hey, Garrett, next time you come for the council, you need to bring a
Pies.
pie, okay? It can be banana cream pie, too.
Yeah, it can be
you know,
anything.
it's not-
Anything.
Oh, Taryn.
Oh, grab her. Grab her.
So our dress store sponsored Miss Pleasant Grove Dress Collective, and she wore a number of our dresses, and I wanted to let her know if she still needs those. We would love to have her represent Dress Collective and our dresses that we provided for her. So anyway, if you
Wow.
see her again. But that's not why I'm here. That's total coincidence. Many of you know my wife, unbeknownst to me, approached both Scott and Dion.
Hey, Dustin,
There she is.
just state your name.
I'm Dustin with Dress Collective. You wore some of our dresses to the coronation kind of passing on. If you need more, let us know. I want you to represent us longer. That would be great. So if you need more, let us know. Okay, thanks. So we were here, my wife approached Dion. She hikes the trails, walks the trails, saw all the junk. We had pictures of kind of the big truck full of garbage. Well, that was a couple weeks ago. My wife was out there again. She's still in the trails. And someone, Garrett, you mentioned idiots on the trails. I will fully support that statement. There are idiots on the trails because we now have further pictures of more piles that have been left on the trails just since we were there. Thankfully, though, and I won't publicly shame them, I have a sign with name and phone number of the company that owned the sign. I think they would be a great representative to help man and support the next cleanup project. So if we can get this picture to Dion, and maybe if there's another cleanup project for another Boy Scout, these guys could certainly help sponsor it, because we just don't need any more of that. So anyway, I'll forward these. If I can get your cell number, Dion, I'll send them off to you, and I'd love to have that continue to keep our trails clean. Thanks.
Dustin.
Most of you know me, Jason Cowley. Anytime something comes up to council for Valley Vista trails, no, the garbage is not on Valley Vista, by the way. I like to come and give a quick report of what's going on at Valley Vista. So for this one in particular, I just want to report, I think we're coming up on close to 500 volunteer hours this year in maintaining Valley Vista. That's pretty steady ongoing for the years we've had it. The big report this year, I think you guys have already heard, is we were helpful in stopping that fire from running up the mountainside. So it was kind of a neat experience for me to stand there with the fire chief and with the other firemen there and have them all come down and say, how long have these trails been here? And these.
Because it kind of created that natural fire break.
Yeah, it created a natural fire break. I think the representative from the Forest Service was the one that came to me and said this turned a 700-acre fire into a 7-acre fire, because had we not stopped it, it would have gotten past the fire road and it would have gone all the way up. So anyway, on top of that, we're still seeing thousands of users. Dion and I have had several conversations. It may very well be one of the most used parks in the city. As far as our team goes, we have almost 200 people on the team now, so 139 athletes and almost 80 coaches. So it's really a blessing for the community, and I look forward to the expansion that we'll talk about later. So if you guys have any questions about the trails, I show up once in a while. So anything I can answer for you?
Thank you so much. You're awesome. Thank you,
Okay,
Jason.
thank
So
you.
grateful.
Anyone else like to come forward and address the council? If not, we'll now close our open session.
One more.
Oh, one more. Okay, sorry.
Hello, I'm Tara Farrell, and I live down in the Mud Hole neighborhood. And I got a notice that they're going to try to rezone approximately like 5 acres behind my house to make them smaller lot sizes. Do you guys know what that?
So,
That's
so,
next.
so
Our
Tara,
public hearing.
we'll have you
We'll
come up
see.
with public
So
That's
hearing.
our
I didn't know
public
So just
hearing.
sit right
how
there
that
in the
works.
front row,
Okay.
because we'll have you
So
come up
then-
specific to this agenda item.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, for the new,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
My first time here, that's why I
You
was.
want? That's just fine.
Well,
We just want
welcome.
you officially on record for this item, so that will be great. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll now close our open session and move on to our item number 6, our consent items this evening. Consent items A, B, C, D, E, and F that we've previously reviewed, and I would like to entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve tonight's consent items.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams,
Second.
second by Councilmember Jensen. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, we have no board, commission, or committee appointments this evening or presentations, so we'll now move on to our public hearings, 9A. And we would, for a public hearing to consider for adoption ordinance 2019-20 to rezone approximately 5.027 acres from R118 zone, single-family residential with a minimum lot size of 8,000 square feet per lot to R17, single-family residential with a minimum lot area of 7,000 square feet per lot on property located approximately 921 west, 1100 north, providing for an effective date. Director Cardenas,
Mayor,
what else can
Council.
you tell us?
Pardon?
What else can you tell us?
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Mayor, Council, I think the presentation from Garrett was great, huh? He stand up, he was pointing out, he didn't look nervous at all. He's a brilliant guy. I'm pretty sure he's going to be a city planner when he grows up. He did it really well. He did a really
I
good
think he's going
job.
to be the mayor.
Mayor, Council, the item that we have right now is a proposal for a rezone, okay? Let's locate ourselves geographically so we know exactly what we're talking about. As the mayor mentioned, the proposed acreage that is, I'm gonna say proposed again, proposed to be rezoned, it's a tiny little bit above 5 acres, 5 acres. And the address, it's 921 west, 1100 north. I'm gonna use the mouse so people who are watching us home can see. So right here, this road right here, this one is 1100 north, okay? This one going down right here is 1010 west, and this one is 600 west. The road that kind of cuts through this property, it's 1000 north. As we can see right here, these roads right here have been temporary dead-ended, hoping for a future development and the continuation of that road, okay? But that is the property. What's within this red square, that's our 5 acres right there, okay? Now, let's figure out what zone it is right now. So I have the next slide that is gonna show us that, okay? So, we're in the middle of an R1A zone. What's an R1A zone? As the name says, is the R stands for residential, single-family dwelling, and each lot needs to be at least 8,000 square feet. 8,000 square feet. The proposal is to change that from an R1A to an R17, meaning that it's still residential, it's still single lot, family dwellings, but the minimum square footage is 7,000 square feet. Now, as we can see right here, that's the proposed change. Now, Why is the rezone being proposed? Well, usually, most of the cases, because there's a development coming, right? And the applicant starts drafting and making some drawings and see exactly what he can do. He realizes, in many cases, that the requirements or parameters that we have for a specific zone doesn't help him a lot to get to the point where he wants to be. So in this specific case, let's take a look again at this aerial picture, and let's focus on the south portion of these 5 acres. As I told you guys before, this road needs to be continued right here. And then we will need to get another road from the vicinity plan that goes through the middle of this right there, and again, runs from east to west, west to east, along 11,000 North. So let's take a look at that a little closer, okay? So there you go. Again, 1,000 North needs to be continue right there, which is gonna cut this property in 2 pieces, and then again, we're gonna have another one right here, another road, and then we're gonna have 3 big chunks of land to be developed. That's the area that eventually is gonna be turned into lots, okay? Now, one important thing that I need to mention here is that an R18 zone, when we talk about R18, is not just the square footage, the only requirement. We have requirements for frontage, we have requirements for width, okay? So the width of the lot in an R18 is 85 feet, okay? 85 feet. So in order to accommodate 4 lots right here, we will need at least, let's take a look at this image that I have right here. So this road right here, this represents 1,000 North, okay? And in order to accommodate 4 lots, we will need 340 feet. Because if we divide 340 feet into 85, we end up with 4 lots, okay? Now, if we measure from side to side, we have 330, okay? Now, if you guys take a look at these lots are way bigger than 8,000 square feet lots. This one is 15,000, this one is 13,000, this one is 13,000, and this one is 16,000. So the problem that the applicant was facing was not the acreage, or was not to reduce the size of the lot to create smaller lots, but it was because of the width requirement. So that's what the applicant is proposing, okay? Again, this portion that I'm showing you right here, these 4 lots, so we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, those are the lots that will be located in this portion of the land.
Wait, Daniel, I don't know if you said this. If the lots are, what is the width of the lot if it's an R17, if we give him that R1?
75,
Okay.
75.
So 10 feet short.
No, let's go back to this image. Oh yes, he's 10 feet short right now. To put 85 width lots.
Right.
So he's 10
He's going
feet
from
short
85 to 75,
So he's
Correct.
10 foot short on each lot.
on an R18.
Long.
but he's long.
Correct, but it's long.
Okay.
Got it.
So, yeah. Let me go back to this one, just to make sure that I'm gonna repeat that again. Yes, so if he goes with 85 feet lot, 85 width of the lot, for each lot right now at an R18, he's 10 feet short. So that's what he wants to do. Now, if he goes to an R17, doesn't mean he can accommodate more lots, because how the roads are, he is very constrained by that,
So
okay?
Diana, he's only 10 feet short on all 4 of them.
Yes.
No,
Yeah. Yeah,
10
that's
feet
what I mean.
altogether.
Yeah,
On all of
altogether.
them, correct,
Yes.
correct. I thought on each single one, no, yes,
No,
in
no,
all
just-
of them,
yeah,
correct.
just-
He's 2 feet, he's 3 feet short.
2.5 feet short. Yeah.
That's good, 2.5 for each one, that will be the case,
Okay.
okay? So, this item went to the planning commission. Before I go there, when the applicant came and talked to his staff gives them different avenues, different ways they can get to, for a change or for the development to happen. Code amendment was one. Another one was rezoned or a variance. And then staff always meets with the applicants, tells them, what each avenue requires. And in this case, the applicant decided to shoot for the rezone. This item went to the planning commission. The Planning Commission reviewed this item. The Planning Commission voted 5-2 in favor of forwarding a recommendation of approval to the City Council. So,
Do you know why the two commissioners were opposed?
sure. Because as I mentioned before, there are other avenues. For example, one other avenue the staff mentioned could be a code amendment because in the zones that are R19, you can do something that is lot size averaging. But that rule doesn't apply to R18. So some commissioners thought that that would be a better avenue for this one. 2 of them, and 5 thought the rezone would be better.
How long would it take to do a code amendment?
A code amendment of this nature will be about a month, something like that.
And why not a variance?
It's self-imposed.
Okay.
Correct. So the applicant still had the opportunity to apply for a variance. He just decided to go for a rezone.
Got it.
Okay.
Is it fair to say, Daniel, the planning commission as a body was okay generally with what was happening? Just 2 of them thought that maybe the other avenue should have been used instead of
Correct.
the rezone?
Exactly. That's a fair
They weren't
statement.
completely opposed, they just
They
there
thought
might be
They
better
thought it
options.
should have been a code
Vehicle to
amendment
get it
they
instead of
thought code
a
amendment will
rezone.
be easier, but or a better approach, if I may say that. Correct. That's a clear statement. Thank you, Scott. Okay. So that's what I have, Mayor. If you guys have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. The reason why you guys can see these arrows right here is because that's how I measure width of lots. I find out the frontage of the lot. We go 50 feet deep, and then we measure right there is where we measure the width of the lot. Okay, that's why you guys can see those weird lines there. Okay,
Understand. Thanks, Daniel.
that's what I meant. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no other questions for that, we would like to open our public hearing this evening for anyone who would like, and I think there was one person who already said she would like to, and I hope that what he explained to you understand a little better. Please come forward and give us your name.
Thanks. It's Tara Farrell, and now I know how things run, so I'm glad I'm learning a lot. Yes, I'm one of those homes that live right on 1010 West. So I got this notice in the mail and wanted to come in, and some of my neighbors wanted to make it too, but I know some of them couldn't make it tonight, so they're like, let us pass on our opinion too. So I know Maria Ferguson was one, and she was really concerned about the smaller lot sizes because it wouldn't be consistent with the rest of the neighborhood, and it would bring a lot more traffic in. And that's my biggest concern, is just because we already live on such a busy road that it just brings more homes and traffic, and it is smaller, so you would, get a lot more homes in there. And it isn't consistent with, because that we have a 1/4 acre, and that is, I think, going to be like 0.16 from what I understand or something. So it is considerably smaller. So we are concerned about that. So they're all just single-family homes, right? There's no apartments or condos or anything like that. That's another thing we wanted to double check. And then the fence that's going around it right now, is that going to all be taken down or just where the road is? Do you know?
That would be a good. Sorry, the microphone doesn't work, but let's see.
Well, let me state that we're just contemplating a rezone tonight. We're not talking about a site plan. So a lot of those details will be figured out later as far
Oh,
as
okay.
fences and those types
see
of
those.
things.
Okay, because I know a couple weeks ago, they came in and marked the road to build, and they said that we're going to start on it like within a week, and then it never happened when they painted on the, so we were just wondering like how soon that was going to happen, because they were over there working on that road. But I think that's our biggest concern in our neighborhood, is we've lived there over 21 years, and everyone's kind of the same right there in that mud hole neighborhood with the different lot sizes and homes, and so it's already really full and really busy, and it just brings a lot more traffic. So I think that's one of the biggest concerns in our neighborhood. Obviously, you're going to get more when there's more homes, but to have it considerably smaller than the rest of the lot sizes in the neighborhood, it just isn't consistent with the way everything else looks, and then also just more people.
I think these proposed lot sizes are bigger than your lot.
So they're bigger,
It won't
because
be
I
what
think
the
everyone
zone-
is was confused. So
Yes.
they're bigger, not smaller then.
That's right.
Because
It's just,
they were
it's
telling
just
me.
the width.
The
of
width will be
frontage.
smaller, but they'll be longer.
Oh,
They'll be
okay.
almost a third of an acre.
So they will be almost a third, because everyone was saying
Yes.
that it was going to be smaller, and they're like, well, as long as they're not, bringing apartments or condos in, they're good, but they were all saying it's going to be like 0.16. I'm like, oh. So they were all, I think, getting all confused.
So they just had to
So
do that to fit
this
the
will-
lot size in.
Yeah, so this will be good information. In fact, Daniel, can you put up
Can I
the
take a
lot
picture of that?
proposal? And then I'm excited to show you, because I want you to go back and I want you to tell your
Yes,
neighbors.
Me too. And can I take a
Yeah,
picture
go ahead,
of that?
please.
Is that okay?
And Tara, this is also going to be on our YouTube, so your neighbors can go back and you
Just
can.
watch this.
And they can watch the entire presentation but take pictures as well, but
Perfect.
please let them
I
know
will
they can
tell
go
them
back
that,
and
'cause
watch
I'm
that.
surprised that no one's.
Okay, so. All right. So so as you look at sometimes this is hard to tell, but right underneath where it says Lot 9, Lot 8, Lot 7, you'll see that there's a square footage.
Okay.
So in your zone, a lot has to be 8,000 square feet. And so you can see that these are bigger than 8,000 square feet.
Okay. So that's what was, because when I was sitting down, I was thinking, gosh, those look so much bigger, but I'm not a builder, so I'm confused here. But everyone I talked to in my neighborhood, and they were men too, not just women. There was a lot of men that were like, oh yeah, they're smaller, like, 7,000 square feet is smaller. But I think that's where they got confused, because it said 7,000, but that's just to make
That's
it work.
Can
for
I
them.
Can I just
Yes,
clarify
makes sense.
something
I
so
think
Yes,
that we're
please.
not,
Not looking at a site plan.
we're not exactly, and so what the council is considering tonight is whether or not they're willing to rezone the property to provide for lots that are 1,000 square feet smaller than an R18, which is what you're in right now, right?
Right.
This is what the developer is proposing to build on the property, but we are not considering this tonight. The developer very well may come back with something different, right? So this is what he's proposing, this is the reason why he's asking for the rezone, so he can get one more lot than he could in the R18, and so that the lots will be 10 feet smaller, right?
Right.
Width-wise. So we have to be careful that we're not
Thank you.
saying this is what's going to happen, because this is not what is in front of the council tonight.
Oh.
The rezone request, and so what the council needs to consider is, does it make sense, and are they willing to zone that 5 acres, downzone it to allow for smaller lot sizes? Then this comes later.
Oh, like what can be built on it then?
What
So it
can be
could
built
still
on it comes
change
later.
from single-family
Right, so
homes.
I don't want you to go back
Well,
with,
it'll still be single-family homes,
Right.
correct?
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not going to
That's
change no
not
matter
changing.
what.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
zoned for anything
Apartments
else.
and
Apartments are not
condos are not
allowed.
allowed in that zone.
Okay.
So help me, if this comes back and they're very, very small, heads will be shocked, right?
Okay, this is good. I'm glad I have
Because, yeah,
because I can explain that to him.
So,
because we're voting on this type of an approach, otherwise we wouldn't.
Well, just to caution you, once it's R17, developer could come back and redo that whole
R17.
thing. So the city council needs to consider this, that
And
they
thank you.
technically could come back a project that now meets the zone, which is very difficult for the council to reject it at that point because they've met all their entitlements.
Yeah.
So with that
And thank you, legal
understanding.
counsel.
I know, I love it when he gives legal advice.
No, what I'm
You're
saying
here.
is, but thank you for bringing us all back to reality. We're talking about the zone.
Sorry, let me turn that over to Tina. And she'll tell you exactly what I just told you.
Yes, so
Going
one
longer
thing
version.
that I would like to add is that, again, and as Tina mentioned, this is for the rezone. We're not working on the plat right now. When the applicant proposes a plat, because of the number of lots, it will come back to Planning Commission and to City Council as well. So we'll send notices like the card that you got, also when we do the subdivision part, when we do this, where exactly the road is going to be, where the lots, that item, we'll let you know again for that one.
Awesome. Is there going to be a road off 1100 North going in, did you say? It looked like that's what you're pointing to, so I was just curious.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I think that's all.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tara, and this is why we have a public hearing, is because we want neighbors and those in the area to come and ask questions and get answers. And so thank you for coming. It's congratulations, your first council meeting. But this is exactly why we have this. So
Okay.
thank you for coming to get information.
Would you give us your name?
Laura Lynn Ebertine, and I have no opinion one way or the other on whether or not the rezone is approved. However, that was exactly my comment here, is I think it is not a very solid basis at all to make a rezone approval based on a picture of a proposal of what may or may not be. The developer could go into bankruptcy, they could sell the property. So I think, I'm glad that got clarified, but I wanted to reemphasize, I don't think that's a solid basis to make a rezone approval. If there's some other independent reason, then good. Like I said, I don't have an opinion one way or the other about it.
All right, thank you. Mr. Clyde.
I'm Tim Clyde. I am on the Planning Commission and the one that pushed for the rezone. So I figured I'd come and explain why, if Daniel can get his computer back on. I was the one that proposed the zoning change for the approval. By trade, I've owned a fencing company and I build and have done some development. And so as I looked at the parcel and looked at what the three different options were, this is the reason that I brought forth this proposal, and that's why I came to City Council tonight, was to kind of explain the thought process and everything that went behind it, plus the reason for the two City Council that I didn't feel, or the Planning Commission didn't feel comfortable on it. First thing was when they were talking about a code amendment to go to lot size averaging from an R19 and an R120, you can do that, but you can't do that in an R18, and nobody was really sure why that was the case here in Pleasant Grove. It's probably been on the books for a long, long time. It's probably something that needs to be cleaned up. In my personal opinion, I didn't feel like that was an applicant's issue. That's a city issue that we need to take care of to look at. Also looking at the parcel and understanding when you're trying to maximize your lots and the size and what was going to be required for the roads to go in and the width of the roads, there's really no other way to develop the land than what has been proposed. Plus, nothing even came close to even an R18, which is like an 8,000 square foot lot. So even as you look around on some of them where they're 10,000 square feet, they're bigger than R18 as it is. So it's really the width. Within that width, and Daniel, is it 75? I thought it was 70. On that width and the setback on those parcels on the bottom, which would have been 8, 9, and 10, down at the bottom, 7, 8, 9, and 10, you're going to get to an average of 82.5 feet instead of 85. And which the issue that really comes into play with that is if you don't do it, you're going to end up with something that ends up be over half an acre in an R18 zone. And so even the 3 lots down there would actually be not even close to proportionate what the neighborhood is. I mean, a 16,000 square foot lot is quite big anyway. And where you're so specific, Todd Fugel had mentioned that he didn't want to set a precedence. And I said, whenever we do zoning change, that's not setting a precedence. Every zoning change is zone specific and lot specific and parcel specific of what would happen. If this was more like 10 acres and there could have been different options, that would have been a different discussion, trying to maximize lots in there. Even if you take coming down from 1,100 as the road would drop down and you look at all the other lots, can I have a reset? Those are going to be about 12,000 square feet. And if you look at the width of them, there's not even a way you can actually squeeze an additional lot in because of what you're going to require based off where that 1,000 North Road comes into. So in my opinion, that's why I put forth the motion to approve it, was because I can't see any other way that it could be done. And I felt like it was going to be a problem leaving larger than half-acre lots down on the bottom. And none of the lots were even close to 8,000 square feet, let alone get down to 7,000. It's really a code amendment issue that I think we need to address in making lot size averaging on 8,000 square foot lots.
Okay, thank you, Tim.
Yep.
Thanks,
I'll
Tim.
find that.
Hi, my name is Clay Liston, and I am the property owner. We've owned this property, our family has owned this property for over 50 years. I was raised in Pleasant Grove, our family's been here for over 100 years. We farmed this property for quite a few years until subdivisions built up around us. When that occurred, we could no longer farm it because of threats of the water, flooding other people's basements. So we had to abandon our farming of this property. And over a period of time, we've pretty much left with no other choice than to try to subdivide it and to match everything else in the entire block. Because as you see, this is the only undeveloped piece of property in the entire block. So we're confined, we're basically an island in a subdivided block. We already have a road stubbed in on 10th North there, which restricts the south end of our property to whatever number of lots we can put in there. As you've heard, we're not there to try to make small lots. We're not trying to create a trailer park here. These lots, the smallest we've been able to lay out, and I've hired more than one civil engineer to purposely try to put as many lots in an R17 zone as possible. In doing so, the smallest we could actually come up with is 11,000 square feet. This is fairly simple. Our only problem is on that south end. We are short 10 feet, and we cannot, we're 2.5 feet short per lot in width to be able to put 4 lots in that south end. If we're forced to put 3 lots, they're almost 20,000 square feet each. They're half-acre lots. It's not consistent with all the other lots around. As you heard, the neighbors, their lots are 8,000 square feet. So it's more than double. It's not feasible, and because of an extreme difference in size, it would actually create an economic obsolescence in the large lots compared to all the smaller lots around it. So this is an exceptional case simply because of that 10-foot width. We chose the rezoning after long discussions with Daniel. We chose this rezoning possibility as kind of the least path of the easiest path of resistance to overcome this problem. Everything else we discussed appeared to be much more difficult to try to do on a case-by-case basis. So that's why we are asking for the R17 simply to gain that, just deal with that 10 feet across the south end.
What are your thoughts on the concerns that after we approve this, you could come back with a different plan?
It's impossible to make lots any smaller than 11,000 square feet because of the physical dimensions and the potential for different layouts of this property. There is none. As Tim mentioned, it's physically impossible. It can't be done.
Daniel, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, because of the roads that we'll be requiring and how they cut those properties in 3 different sections, it will be difficult to accommodate 1 extra lot.
Difficult or impossible?
Well, I've seen engineers do some amazing things, but I will say super difficult.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Nope, I think that's good. Thank you, Clay.
Thank
I
you.
mean, it sounds like you've done everything you can to, utilize your property and make it work for the neighbors and make it work for you, and so.
Yeah, this is what we're left to work with by everything that's developed around us. Like I say, we're just the island in the subdivision.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Be glad to see that filled in someday. Anybody else like come forward and address the council on this public hearing?
I feel bad for all the little boys that have been riding their bikes in that field.
If not, I'll bring it back up to the
Little girls.
up to the council here for further discussion.
I think we need to, like Tim said, we need to take a look at our ancient code there, our
The R8 on the
code
R1.
amendment, the
I
code
agree.
amendment.
Well, in defense of the code, okay, if you think about it, lot size averaging allows some lots to be as low as 25% smaller. So there was probably a reason why lot size averaging was not provided for in an R18 and an R17 zone, because those lots are already at the small end of the single-family density size. And so if you're going to allow something to be 25% lower than 7,000 square feet or 8,000 square feet as a result of lot size averaging.
It's a tiny home lot.
Yeah, exactly. So you want to make sure that if you want to do that, that you do it advisedly and you understand what the consequences are, not just, it wasn't left out, I don't think, it was left out inadvertently. I think it was a decision that was made by the planner at the time, that probably wasn't appropriate for that small of a zone for 8,000 and 7,000 square foot lot sizes.
It's true.
Sure,
Good point.
I think it's something they can still take a look at without affecting it. So,
Yeah, I'm just saying it wasn't a mistake, and it's
Yeah.
not because it's an old code. It was done advisedly at the time, and if the council wants to think about something different now, that's great, but
I don't think something different. I think we just have them look at it, so. Okay, I'm done.
Okay. Anybody else from the council? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Sorry, Mayor, I do have a question. So, Daniel, can you review the options again? We have what's in front of us, and then can you review the code amendment?
Yes, so the options that we have in front of us for the rezoned, the second one that will also come to you guys will be a code amendment to allow the R18 to also apply the lot size averaging. And the third one will be to apply for a variance, which doesn't come to city council. That's something that goes to our land use hearing officer, and it's a quasi-judicial decision made by him. So those are the three options.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to ask for a motion on ordinance
I
number.
got one more question.
Okay.
And just to be clear, because I think Tina said, so 80%, that's the reduction that you can do when you apply lot size averaging. 80%, yes. 80%.
Okay.
80%, yeah.
What are we doing as far as timelines and commitments from the landowner? Is this something you want to get done this month?
I've been working on this for almost 10 years.
Okay. All right, so you're ready to subdivide and get moving. Okay.
Okay,
That's
before
all I
I,
had.
what I say anything, is there anybody else that'd like to say anything? Hey, Lynn, you got anything down on that end? Okay, all right. Okay, I'll try this again. I'd like to, a motion on ordinance number 2019-20.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2019-20 to rezone approximately 5.027 acres from the R18 zone, single-family residential with a minimum lot area of 8,000 square feet per lot, to an R17, single-family residential with minimum area of 7,000 square feet per lot, on property located approximately 921 West, 1100 North, and providing for an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams and a second by Councilmember Lamone. And this will be a roll call vote. And pay attention, Diana, because we're going different direction today. Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Walker.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. We will now move on. We've continued 9B, as we stated earlier, and we'll move into our action items ready for vote this evening. And first one is to consider Resolution 2019-042, authorizing the mayor to sign a purchase agreement to purchase 8.071 acres of property from the Wadley Development Company, LLC, Diane and J.L. Anderson, for property located approximately 2600 North, 300 East, for the Valley Vista Trail, and providing for an effective date. Director Giles.
I gotta have Marty help me with the computer here.
We don't get to have you present to us very often, so we're
There's a reason for that.
okay.
Yes.
Where'd your mouse go?
Mouse is moving
So, I'm watching that play down there.
Not mine. You can watch your own, but.
Let me just do that one right there.
Isn't that sweet? So what kind is it?
I can show you.
Yeah.
The strawberry and what?
Thank you.
Like, is it strawberry all the way through? Is there cream in it? Is it a cheesecake or is it just
It's probably a cheesecake.
Yeah. I'm watching
Oh, sorry.
Tyler.
Okay,
Oh.
go ahead,
We
Director.
good?
We're sorry, there's a little side
right.
conversation going up here about
Mayor and
somebody's pie
council.
up here, so anyway.
As Scott mentioned, this has been a process, probably closer to 2 years, I think, since we started the whole north end of the phasing of this project. This piece of property is a little over 10 acres, and it's owned by two owners, the Wadleys and Mr. Anderson. And working with Mr. Anderson, he's offered to sell his property, and the Wadleys want to maintain ownership of theirs. So this is a lot, I don't know what you'd call it, one parcel. So we're having to subdivide this. So we've, with help from Marty and Tina, we've kind of come up with this idea along with the Wadleys. So
Right, so which Wadley is this?
this area in here, the Wadleys would like to maintain along the trail, the Murdoch Trail. They do own this parcel down here and then further to the west. The parcel that we're looking at purchasing is this area here. And then you can I'm colorblind, so that I can barely see the trails in there. But you can see the proposed trails that we have. We had to redo this area quite a bit with the help of Jason.
Hey, is your pointer working? I don't know if
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah.
So
So what area are we wanting to purchase?
So we're gonna purchase, I can't even see this. Yeah, I need the mouse. Give me the mouse. I can see that little
Yeah.
thing.
Comes up here to the east side of the property and approximately that boundary there. So it's 75% of the property essentially is what the interest of Mr. Anderson is.
Yep.
That's the purchasing piece that we're purchasing. The 25% is staying in the name of the Wadley Group.
Okay.
And where that little square is there on the east side, we already own that. That's our Wadley Spring. So this will give us some protection area around the spring, also allow us to build this trail. But right now, this proposed site plan or trail plan has been presented to Metropolitan Water, the Bureau of Reclamation, Jordan Valley Water, and then as soon as we have their approvals, we'll take it to the county and you and the Planning Commission. So this really opens up the north end. Cedar Hills they own the property just to the north of this. They've been really excited and are kind of anticipating this to be built on their property too.
But that's the Wadley property to the north?
No, to the north is Cedar Hills.
And Cedar Hills owns that whole area,
They own a good portion of it, yes. So any questions?
And what, do we have the funds from the,
So yes, we,
Explain the funding
when
process.
when we present this overall phasing, well, actually, we present the whole overall Phase 2, which we've now divided into 3. Phase 2 is much smaller. It's completed, being used all the time. They love it. So this is actually Phase 3. At that time, we came to the council and you approved the funding. So we're working off of a huge donation of $130,000 and 2 other donations of $5,000 each. So we had $150,000 of donated money to start this process. And then we were going to utilize impact fees.
okay.
So
So this has all been from the existing fund and, yeah.
yeah.
So if we get the property purchased, which isn't done yet, when will we restart any of the trail construction there?
A lot of that's going to depend upon, my best guess is going to be the Bureau of Reclamation. They're the ones that will hold, not necessarily hold up the project, but they have the longer time restraints on us. Metropolitan Water will review this next month in their board meeting. They didn't see any problems with it. We just changed the scope of the trail so much that they wanted to take it back in front of their board. So in the original phasing, we came right through the proposed Wadley property here, down to Murdoch Trail. And with Wadley's not wanting the trail on their property, we've taken the trail out to the Cedar Hills Trailhead, which is all on Bureau of Reclamation property. And that's the only hang-up, I think. But we'd like to get started. If we can get all those approvals back, then October. So have it ready for spring.
Okay.
That's awesome.
That
And
sound good, Sid?
yeah, it sounds great.
Okay.
And so how much?
It's $35,000 for the
sorry, yeah.
8.071 acres.
Okay. And I was just going to ask how much that's adding to the trail as far as
It's going
mileage
to
and-
add, I believe, about 2.5 miles. Almost three. So we'll be close to almost like 12 miles total.
Yeah, so for those who've been.
Well, Jason, why don't you come up and talk into the mic next to Dion here?
For those who have been following the Valley Vista project from the beginning, the vision from the beginning was always to be competitive in terms of what we're offering to what like Alpine City is offering with Lambert Park. This would bring us to that point. We will be roughly in the neighborhood of between 12 and 13 miles of single track trail with another 2+ of what we call double track if you count the roads that are up there. So in addition to this, it might be interesting to the council to know that the Forest Service is currently entering into a NEPA study to improve the trail system that is to the east of this and to create the connections that will connect into this to the east. So that would add another, depending on how they go with their NEPA study, 10 to 12 miles of trail to the east of us as well. So, what?
Just in Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, just on the face of Mahogany Mountain. So, yeah, it would be a very substantial nature trail system for the city once that's all done.
Specifically for mountain biking and equestrian use?
No, it's all non-motorized, all
Okay.
multi-use.
Oh.
Hikers, trail runners, equestrians, mountain bikers. It's just non-motorized.
And so about 2.5 acres for phase 3. Is that, I'm not
2.5
acres, I'm sorry, miles.
Miles, yes.
2.5
Yeah,
miles.
yeah, roughly.
At about $35,000, correct, out of existing funds?
Existing funds and donations.
Sorry, that's the purchase of the property. There's
Correct.
additional money to actually put the trail in.
Yeah.
But that we
But-
can still pull from the funds that we're
Yeah, so
not,
the intent was, we have the donated funds, we pull
Right.
from all those first,
Right.
and whatever's left over, we have the park impact
the park
fee.
and, okay. And how long are we, do we have to bid it out for the trail building? Or can we use the existing trail builder that we
We'll
used for
use the
phase 2?
existing trail. The contract allows us to do that.
Could he have it done this year?
Yes, he can have it done this year.
Oh, really?
Depending on weather. But they would rather build in the wet conditions
Yeah.
than in the dry. So
Okay.
the only thing that would stop in snow. The NEPA process that the Forest Service is getting ready to start into is taking trail systems all the way from Draper to Santaquin.
Oh my
So
gosh.
that's a
That's
huge
awesome.
study that they're doing, and we've been lucky enough to have Jason helping us out as far as the city goes and being part of that. It's a good group of people, and hopefully we meet again Thursday night, and we'll see if we can push that process forward.
And this, if we get this through and establish Valley Vista as a destination point, it'll be a hopping on and hopping off point for that whole
Corridor right there. Mhm.
corridor going through. So that's kind of how they look at it as well.
That's awesome.
Great. Thank you.
Any other questions
Thank you.
on this side of the table?
Nope.
Okay, thank you,
Thrilled.
Director Giles. Will now ask for a motion on resolution number 2019-042.
I'll make the motion to adopt resolution 2019-042, authorizing the mayor to sign a purchase agreement to purchase 8.071 acres of property from Wadley Development Company LLC and Diane and J.L. Anderson for property located at approximately 2600 North and 300 East for the Valley Vista Trail and providing for an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Lamone, a second by Councilmember Jensen. This will be a roll call vote. Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Walker. Yes. Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Thank you. We'll now move on to, let's get the property purchase now, okay? 10C. Oh, 10B, excuse me. Yeah, consider for, 10B, consider for adoption Resolution 2019-043, authorizing the mayor to sign the development agreement with Elizabeth Larson, property owner, for a parcel of property located at approximately 1800 North, 873 West, Pleasant Grove, Utah, providing for an effective date. Director.
Mayor, council, a little while ago, we had the applicant, Ludi Larson, come before the council, also Planning Commission, to discuss the extension of 900 West up through her property. The property that is currently owned is off of 1800 North, right at 900 West. As you can see, as this property here was developed, there was an intent to have the road extended up through this property and connect in here at 900 West on 1800 North. And you may have remembered that the request was denied to end the road or to vacate our vicinity plans, which showed this road extending through. Because there is a need, it is pretty clear that's the intent, and there is a need to have a road extended up through there. Since this time, Elizabeth Larson has been working with Robbie Weber, and been working with us to try to determine if there's a way they could develop this. And one of the things is the cost of installing the infrastructure on the road up through the property. It's one of the things that was discussed at that time as well. You can see the frontage here is fairly extensive. So development of this property would require the construction of improvements on 1800 North, also the construction of the road all the way down here to the south end of the property, and it's fairly extensive. And so when they came forward, the intent of the applicant right now, they've went to Planning Commission with a subdivision plat to create a one-lot plat. Currently, they're only intending to build one house and one accessory building on the property. And it was, as we looked at it, working with Tina, had determined that asking for that much to be installed with a single lot being proposed was too much of an ask at this time. And so we came up with some thoughts of ways to help preserve that the right-of-way at some point in the future would go through. Per our ordinance, any planned roads adjacent to development are required to be installed. And so we tried to work out an agreement that would allow for this road to go through into the future, and have come to something that we all can agree on that doesn't get the road installed at this current time. If you look at the plat is currently, that did go to Planning Commission and did get approved unanimously with the condition that tonight's agreement is made. Now, this is a one-lot plat in a residential zone. It doesn't need to come to City Council for final approval per the ordinance. And so this is something that is coming before you just for the approval of the agreement. The plat has already been approved contingent upon you guys approving the agreement. So if you don't approve it, that fades away. They'll have to come back with something else. Right now, as you can see on this plat, the current dedication would happen here. You can see the crosshatch area here on 1800 North. That would happen upon recording of this plat. This area over here is what's Exhibit A in the agreement that you're looking at, and that exhibit essentially just reserves the right for that road to go in the future. There is currently a sewer and a storm drain easement that's being recorded down that same alignment. The storm drain line would be going in with this development. It would come along 1800 North and down and connect to the storm drain that's here at the end of the road. And then the sewer will also provide sewer access for a home that is proposed to be built here. In this agreement, there's a contingency that they have to construct any structures on this property and that would be in alignment with the ordinance or with setback requirements. So you can see the setback line that's shown on the plat. Any home that's built would have to be built within a typical setback requirements for a corner lot. We wouldn't allow them, even though the road's not being dedicated, to construct a home here that would impede the future construction of that road. Really the extent of the agreement, and I, as I was reading through it, preparing for this, noticed that I had made a mistake in what I had sent to you and to the applicant. On paragraph 5, there was some discussion about how the property was to be, at the time that it was to be dedicated, who's responsible, and the appraisal of the property, whether or not this agreement is going to affect that, something that we can't control. And so we revised that agreement, and I wanted to show you what that revised agreement is now saying. Essentially, there are three conditions that we're talking about here. If the applicant decides at some point in the future, this is subdividable, they can divide this lot probably into 3 lots. They're proposing to build a fairly large a garage addition, an accessory building on the property that would kind of prohibit this being divided into 3 without tearing that down. But they could potentially get 3 lots here, more likely 2 is what they might be looking at. And you can see there's a large structure here that's remaining now. At some point in the future, that could be torn down and another lot could be created here. In the event that they subdivide the property further, this agreement says that they would be required to dedicate the road and construct the improvements at that time, including culinary and secondary water lines in that road. The other condition would be that if the city determined that they would like to get the road installed, that the city could come in and purchase the right-of-way at the appraised value. That's the change of paragraph 5 that we made, that the city could come in and purchase that property and construct those improvements at our expense if we determined at some point that it was necessary to do that. The third condition was if the adjacent property, and it might be easier to explain looking at the aerial. Right now you can see it's largely undeveloped in this area. If this property, for example, came in and wanted to subdivide, then at that time that would require potentially this road to be extended up to 1800 North. In the event that that happens, this agreement indicates that they would agree to sell the right-of-way on their property for the appraised value and allow that construction to happen with the development of that property. So essentially this agreement is just trying to preserve the right-of-way as a known right-of-way, that there are multiple ways that it may get installed at some point in the future, but we didn't want to, knowing that we've got a subdivision before us now, we didn't want to exclude that opportunity of that to happen sometime into the future with any one of those. So I believe I've hit on everything there, so happy to answer any questions you have, I guess, about the agreement and what you've read.
Anything else for Marty?
I believe the applicant is here if you had any questions for them as well.
So
Yes.
so when they develop, they're going to access from 1100?
1800.
I mean 1800, sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
So right now they would access, as you saw, they were dedicating this road. They will actually install curb, gutter, sidewalk improvements, the radius on for that future road, but then they would potentially access there for now into their back of their house. But when the road's installed, they would have a driveway off of that new road.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, if the applicant's here, would they be willing to come up and just tell us their thoughts? Thanks, Marty. That was like a 15-minute. That was good. Sorry. No, don't apologize. That was a lot for you. That was good.
My name is Robbie Weber. I'm the applicant. I have entered a lease with Elizabeth Larson with the intent to purchase the property from her in the next, I think, 4.5 years or so, 3.5 years from now, if it goes that long. I've already got the house plans done. I've got the building purchased. It's actually sitting on the property, ready to go. I would start tomorrow if I could. I don't really know anything other than that. We designed the house for all the setbacks, as if that road is going through. I'm not trying to hold the road up by any means. I'm a contractor. I know how much it costs, and it's just not feasible. And so that's kind of where, we're at. And so happy to answer any questions there.
Oh, sounds good.
I'm assuming this is Linda?
I'm the owner of this property, and we have tried to work with the city for a number of years. I, at one point, wanted to build a house, but the problem with having to put in a road was just way too expensive. And we did resolve a lot of misconceptions about this piece of property, its history. I really would appreciate being able to get this into the hands of these young people and let them develop it. It served a wonderful purpose with me. I had a youth program for 20 years, teaching kids how to grow gardens, and it was called the Little Farm Apprentice Program. There were a lot of youngsters who learned a lot about gardening there. And
You still do that?
I do a different program. I do a different program with the kids. I grow, and they are my entrepreneur sellers.
Good for you.
So,
You're
but
teaching two skills then.
I love kids. I had 10 children. The farm was a wonderful place to teach them how to work.
Great. Thanks, Linda.
Thanks, Luden. Anybody else have any questions of the council here? If not, I'd like to entertain a motion for a resolution 2019-043.
I'll make a motion that we adopt Resolution 2019-043, authorizing the mayor to sign a development agreement with Elizabeth Larson, the property owner, for the parcel of property located at approximately 1800 North and 873 West Pleasant Grove, providing for an effective date.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Anderson, a second by Councilmember Williams. This will be a roll call vote, starting with Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Councilmember Walker.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. We appreciate that. Ludi, we've got a change for you.
Thank you.
Now, we'll now move on to item 10C, consider for adoption resolution 2019-044, authorizing the mayor to sign a cooperative agreement with local agency performing the work with the Utah Department of Transportation, UDOT, for installation of street lighting on SR 89 over the railroad bridge in Pleasant Grove, and providing for an effective date.
Mayor,
And this has been on one of my to-do lists. So
yes,
I'm
you
glad
mentioned
it's
that to
here.
me a few weeks ago as we were talking about that, and I was glad to have something to report to you. It's probably been over a year ago. We were hearing a lot of rumblings about this, and I'm sure it's been going on for many years about the lighting, and I thought I'd show you kind of what it looks like at night over this. Oh, it doesn't show you that. It's really dark, and I can't show it, but the whole space there, as you go over there, if you've driven in your vehicles, it's very difficult to see. If you're a pedestrian there, it's difficult to walk. And so it's just one of those dark areas. And when they installed the bridge, they actually installed all the conduits, they installed all of the base mounts for lighting, but I don't know if they ran out of funding or what happened. They did not install the lights or the electrical conduits, or the electrical wires to the lighting. And so when we started hearing these rumblings, I went to UDOT to discuss whether or not this is a project that they could fund. They put a project, they put a little team together. They did an estimate of what it was going to cost. That cost was in the $300,000 range. They took it before their board when they do their planning for their projects, and it was not selected as one of their priority projects, and they responded back saying that that was not something that they would be able to fund. Also know, just for information, all of the lighting along state roads by state code are the requirement of the municipality through which it runs to light. Typically, even signals on those state roads, the lighting there is supposed to be separate and ran through the city and pay for that.
On the road.
Because that's what the legislature said it was. So if you want to go talk with them.
Yeah, we know someone. So.
Wait, so how long ago?
Yeah.
I don't know when that was
Okay,
passed.
but this has just been a long time that this has been the
they
mode
bring it
of
up regularly
operation.
to me that, hey, these are your lights, and if there's, a light goes out on the signal, not the actual signal heads, they operate all the signals, but the lighting above that for pedestrians or vehicles is the responsibility of the city. That's the same question we have about the reconstruction project happening here, and we've got some money now to help with some lighting along State Street when that happens this next year. In this situation, they rejected, or they weren't able to find funding for that. We were looking for some special projects funding. However, recently had an opportunity to go meet with the region director, kind of stated the cause, hey, we need to get this lit and we would really appreciate some support on that. We didn't have funding in our street lighting budget to do that. And a week later, we got a call back from the project manager saying, hey,
Week later?
we've got some contingency funding that the director would like to shift your way and get these lightings in. He thinks he, appreciates that it's important to you guys and thinks he can come up with $130,000. Well, the difference is when we talked with them, they originally were about $330,000. We went and had our contractor who does lighting for us give us a proposal on that, and he came in right at about $117,000, $118,000.
Where was the difference then?
I don't know. I didn't do their estimating. But we went and actually got a proposal rather than just an estimate, and it was their engineers doing the estimate based on what was the need there. We had them go in and make sure. There are a few risks in that we've got to make sure that, they put conduits in those parapet walls for the bridge. Got to make sure the wire can pull through, things like that. I told them that it was $130,000 just to have a little bit of flexibility in there, and that's what they approved the funding for. We think we'll probably be into about $118,000 is what we know the cost will be. There may be a few little changes that we have to make here or there, but they said it's funded up to $130,000. And if I can get approval, the lighting contractor will get right on it soon. So it could be done in the next couple of months.
Thank you, Marty, for making that safer.
Thank you,
let's clap
Mayor.
for that. And Mayor.
It's been good.
I'll
There's
clap.
been a lot of people touching it, not just me, so.
Has anybody walked over that at night?
Yes.
Not
It's
walked.
pretty-
I've
It's pretty scary.
Rodeo.
Yeah.
It's the rodeo, it's the post
yeah,
rodeo.
right there. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's dark.
A mountain bike.
Sorry, the bridge begins at about 200 south, it's our 220 south, and it just comes up over to Geneva Road. So the lighting over the bridge happens right over the railroad tracks.
Yes.
Sorry, it's a
Across
State
the
Street.
bridge.
It's the bridge on State Street. Exactly, that bridge.
So for the rodeo, a lot of people park in the Ace Chubby's parking lot, and then they walk along the bridge,
And then they
come to the
cross it.
rodeo.
So it's on both sides, right?
Yes, lighting on the entire bridge structure. It'll be nice, very nice.
Okay.
Very well
In
lit.
the style that is, so
Decorative lighting.
decorative lighting. Okay,
So Acorn style, I believe, is where we were at on that design.
that's the downtown village lighting. Okay.
Okay, anybody have anything else for Marty?
No.
If not, I'd like to ask for a motion on resolution number 2019-044.
Mayor, I make a motion for adoption of Resolution 2019-44, authorizing the mayor to sign a cooperative agreement for local agency performing work with the Utah Department of Transportation, UDOT, for the installation of street lighting on SR 89 over the railroad bridge in Pleasant Grove and providing for an effective date.
We have a motion by Councilmember Jensen, a second by Councilmember Anderson. This will be a roll call vote. Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen.
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone. Councilmember Walker.
Yes.
Councilmember Williams.
Yes.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. Glad to have that one taken care of. We'll now move on to item 10D. Consider for adoption Resolution 2019-045, authorizing the mayor to sign the fourth addendum to the solid waste recycling collection agreement with Allied Services for the purpose of extending the term of the service contract, modifying the price per can for the purpose of for recycling services and providing for an effective date.
Thank you, Mayor. We've been working on this the last couple months, so I think the council's very familiar. 2 weeks ago in our work session, we settled in on the terms that we would like in conjunction with Republic Services. Just to review those terms, And in the agreement, I think we have a typo in there, but we'll get that changed. But under number 1, starting on January 1st, 2020, we will be adding 73 cents per recycled container, which is offsetting the commodity costs of the tipping fees for recycling. So we've gone over the history of recycling and how that has changed over time. This is the negotiated deal that we have with Republic, that we will be charged 73 cents more per can. And now it will be up to us to decide whether we're going to use our fund balance or pass that on to the customer. And we're not discussing that tonight. That'll be a future agenda item on what we're going to do with that. Number 2 is that starting July 1st, 2020, there will be a 1 cent increase/decrease per recycled container for every $1 increase/decrease in average commodity tipping fee costs for the most previous rolling 12-month period. The period we're choosing is February to February, using $90 as a baseline. So $90 is what it costs now for Republic Service that's the tipping fee that they pay for our recycled services. And so the market dictates what that number is. If that number goes up, then on a yearly basis, they will adjust what they will charge us for those cans for the tipping fee. So if it goes up $5 by next February, then we will have a 5 cent increase. If it goes down $5, then we'll have a 5 cent decrease off that 73 cents that we've initially talked about. So if the market corrects and gets a little better, then we'll see the benefit of that as a city. If it continues to struggle, then that will just be the cost of doing business. Item 3 is a 10 cent per container increase based on the number of people that are recycling. This is the economies of scale. Right now we have over 4,800 cans out there within our city. If we fall below 4,750, then the cost per can will go up 10 cents per container. And then if we lose more than another 250 homes, then it goes up another 10 cents. So this will remain to be seen. If we pass the cost on to the residents, how many will choose to not recycle at that point? Because to them it's not worth it. It's not something we require as a city that they have to recycle. But this is, if it gets to a point where we have enough people that are choosing not to recycle, then Republic Services loses that economies of scale as far as the pickup's concerned. Item number 4 is our annual pricing. This is also for our solid waste and our recycle, starting on July 1st, 2020, that we will have annually reviewed the garbage and trash collection CPI on a rolling basis, again, February to February. And why we're choosing February is because now we'll have a budget number. So we'll figure out what the number is in February so we can put it into the budget, but the actual increase will not come until July 1st when we generally adopt our new utility rates.
Okay.
So that's the purpose of doing the February to February. Is there any questions?
I think we get Reese up here one more time for the 20th time.
Let's invite Reese up, and he has a couple visitors they'd probably like to come up too, and Reese can introduce them to us.
They've traveled far to come to
And you've sat through our entire council meeting, so come on up.
With the rubbish
Is there anything else
please
for
come
me?
Get
Or
up
you
here.
guys?
Join.
Reese, you can introduce.
Introduce your guests who patiently
Well,
been
this
waiting.
just happened by happenstance. So,
You were golfing earlier.
Jim Hutchinson right here is the me for the Northwest. So he handles all the residential he's my contact and my go-to guy for the Northwest for our company. And he visits me on occasion. He said he was going to be here this week. So I said, good, maybe we can go to the PGC, the council meeting. And Richard Copeland is our corporate municipal guy, so for the whole country, and he's out of Arizona. And so he usually goes and sees Jim, and Jim said, I'm going to be with Reese. And he said, well, I'll just go to Utah and see you both. So we got to see them both today. So
Have you taken care of them? You taken them around? And
as for as short a period of time as I have to.
Showed them the different garbage cans in the town?
Now, they're good support. They've been to many, many council meetings. I told them they're coming to a very good council today. And I appreciate Scott kind of making this happen today, too. There was a possibility it may be until October, but I did want them to see you and meet you and see how we do it here in Utah, so.
Well, welcome to Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you being here and appreciate the partnership.
And Reese, it sounded like you committed to help Garrett.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever,
Okay.
if we can help him, for sure.
Oh, so that's-
I don't have his contact info, but
I got it.
somebody can get to him.
And I sent yours to Wendy, so.
that? Okay.
Mhm. Thank you.
Did you get one of these?
Any other questions for?
I did. Is
You
it on
did?
the bottom of that?
It's on the bottom.
Okay.
Yep.
Nope, sorry, Mary, no.
Sorry.
Okay, Reese, I just, you got that kind of power in town. I hope you have a job when they leave.
Just like that, just like that.
Sorry to say that, but.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ready, Mayor? Can I make a motion?
Okay, let me get back to, I'd like a motion for resolution number 2019-045.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2019-45, authorizing the mayor to sign a fourth addendum to the solid waste and recycling collection agreement with Allied Services for the purposes, of extending the term for the service contract, modifying the price per can for recycling services, and providing for an effective date.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilmember Williams, a second by Councilmember Jensen. This will be a roll call vote with Councilmember Williams,
Yes.
Councilmember Walker,
Yes.
Councilmember Lamone,
Yes.
Councilmember Jensen,
Yes.
Councilmember Anderson.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. That concludes our action items for this evening.
Thank you.
You can stay longer.
You are our favorite rubbish recyclers anyway, so anyway, thank you.
Ask Paula if she got some of that pie.
Okay, we'd like to now go have our reports from our directors. We'll start with Sherry.
So thank you, everyone who came last night. The city, all of the city council and mayor were there, and several other staff were there. And it was a really fun night. And people kept saying, "Good job, Sherry," and all I can take credit for is getting Stacy Martineau involved.
Yes.
Yes.
She's fantastic and started about 3 years ago, and everything got better. when
Yes.
she started.
Actually, and the numbers have increased every year. It was packed, and the music was good. The food was spot on.
Hey, the music went till 8:45 last night.
I actually heard it from my
From
balcony.
your balcony, okay.
Yeah, Shane Lee Band will just keep going forever if you like.
Yeah, they were so good. That was a fun night.
I know.
Yeah, they did.
It's fun to see them. They really enjoy doing that. So anyway, they were having a good time.
Well, and all the bands, Funeral Potatoes, it was just the weather was delightful. I know there was a big wind in the morning, but it was delightful.
Yeah, very pleasant.
So fun to see the park full.
And thank you to Dion's crew too. for
Yeah.
set up and take down.
Always.
Thank you. And
Great,
to the
great.
historical committee.
Yeah, great bacon burger.
Yeah, I had that too. That was so
Great
good.
bacon.
Oh, the hot dog is better.
Yeah,
He w-
I'm sure it was.
After the dinner, I'll come back and get the hot dog. And Eric got the hamburger.
I had the hamburger.
Did everybody have the vanilla ice cream and
Yes.
peaches?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I'm so glad when the line kept going and going and going because he'll probably come back.
Yeah.
I wanted him to do good business.
Yes.
And we, a few years ago, we had a barbecue food truck and they didn't do well. And so I was really glad to see.
Did they feel like it was a well?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there was 65 pre-ordered dinners. Is that what? How many dinners did we have pre-ordered?
Well, Stacy requested about 65. We had about 35 paid for before the,
Oh,
But then he just kept selling.
I'm not sure what he did. I know Stacy gave some to volunteers and other things like that too, so I'm not sure how.
He is an award-winning chef, by the way. So
great.
that was a treat for Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, so, yeah, it went beautifully. The missionaries helped over at the cemetery and
Cool.
That's a good place to put them.
we've had problems with getting people off of the carriages and the other vehicles because they just wanted to take a ride. But then the people at the cemetery wouldn't be able to get a ride back because people weren't getting off. So they tasked the missionaries with making people get off.
Oh, no.
And apparently they were too nice. They kept, oh, you want to stay? Okay. So the volunteers had to get on the missionaries a little bit. But they were fantastic. People liked seeing them.
Shout out to Dustin with Powerhouse, right? For
Oh, yes.
providing all night long. That was awesome.
And Mark Bezin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, everything went really nicely. So, and yeah, I think we had at least 1,000 there last night. 'cause my
That's awesome.
Oh, at least.
count was-
Yeah.
And probably more than that.
Yeah.
And I have bids coming. I have one bid for the marquee. It's not a marquee.
Monument sign.
Monument.
For the sign.
Keep it legal.
And a couple more coming tomorrow. And then Sid and Diana and whoever else wants to get involved. Get going on getting it ordered and selecting location, et cetera. So thank you for that. And that's it.
Thanks, Sherry.
Director, the pool boy.
Hey, we want to know where Tyler was last night. How come he wasn't at Downtown Park?
I apologize. I was playing softball.
Okay.
Boo. In Orem.
Boo.
Sorry.
Wow.
Needed their best player.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you win?
Yes.
Okay.
Because-
Worth it.
Because I was there.
Yes, worth it.
No, I apologize for missing it. I had friends and family that went and they loved it, so that's awesome. We just started all of our fall programs, and so tonight, flag football begins at Discovery Park. I kind of mentioned it in the newsletter. It's one of my favorite programs, basically, because I participated when Paul Schoonover ran it, and I've just seen it grow.
I know.
tremendously. It's got
Yeah.
750 to 800 kids in it now, from 3rd grade to 12th grade. And if you've never been out there when they're playing it, they're just on every field out there at Discovery Park, and it's awesome to be there. So I hope you have kids that participate or grandkids and just get to watch some of that.
I sure do.
I think
Wednesday night lights.
I think I just saw a tear right there.
Yeah,
Come on,
it
come on,
really is.
come on.
It's an awesome program.
We appreciate all you do there, Tyler.
It's a great program, and we at the rec center, we are starting to get new equipment in. And council and mayor, I challenged you guys. We have a new piece of equipment, the Hydro. It's a pretty awesome piece that Andy put a video out on Facebook about it.
Tyler, is there a record to be broken if we come?
There's leaderboards on there.
Okay.
So you can keep track.
Oh.
There's a little competition there.
By age?
Huh?
By age?
No, but it does have
Not by
easy,
age.
medium, and hard, so you can choose how that goes.
I think you should have age brackets. Clydesdale.
Wow.
But it's awesome equipment we're getting. Just the public's liking what's coming in, and so it's good to provide that. Lots of things going on.
Okay, thank you. Director Giles.
Just thanks again for authorizing to purchase that property, and we're really happy to start to cool down, so.
It has.
Anything else you have going on?
Lots of stuff going on.
Tell us.
Come on, Dion. Thanks for getting the Downtown Park ready, looking good.
Looks great.
Looks great.
We had a lot of compliments on last night. Been doing some trail work on the Murdoch,
What do you mean on?
like on the intersections, cutting them down a lot of the trees. Just
Mm.
to make it's visually more safe.
Mm-hmm.
Getting ready to redo the roof, so we're gonna take the nets down tomorrow at the
Discovery.
tower.
Mm-hmm.
Get on that roof and redo the roofing. Bill's been in here all day hanging shelves and putting benches together in the restroom, so just a lot of stuff, different things
Oh.
going on.
Okay, thank you. I knew there was something.
When,
Set up and tear down.
when you move those tables out of the pavilion, is that just a man lift? Okay,
Two people can generally do those.
okay.
That was actually nice for last night
You have a forklift that could.
to move
could
them
be
out and
used.
have
Do you
them
need a
for people to
forklift
sit on.
driver? I've
That was
got a
really
girl.
nice.
It's a danger.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looked, the whole park was set up beautifully, so the chairs and everything.
Stacy did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Hi, Chief.
Chief
Thomas. Chief Thomas.
So Sarah pretty much took care of our business today.
She's awesome.
Get things scheduled out and get you an invite. And we'll have you over and teach you how to take care of people.
Yeah.
Great, we appreciate it.
What else? One other thing that happened this week? Past couple weeks?
We've just stayed busy, lots of calls. We just kind of keep going. Our 3 new guys are working out really well, and we're really pleased with them.
Good.
They seem to fit right in, so we're really happy with them.
Good.
Got them in classes, and hopefully in a couple of years, we'll have them fully trained. Yeah,
We'll work
try
towards
and keep
that
them
goal. Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Chief Roberts.
I just wanted to publicly thank Bill Dion when he says he was hanging some shelves. He was hanging shelves in concrete and tile, and it was very hard work, and I don't think Bill ever gets the accolades he deserves for everything he does for the city.
True.
He's kind of the jack of all trades, but other than that, we have the Citizens Academy starting on next Wednesday.
Oh, really? Is it full?
No, there's about half, it's about half full, so there's plenty of
Have you
spots
advertised
available.
it?
Facebook and
Chief,
Instagram.
is all the council taken it, or is there someone missing it?
Todd was talking about it earlier with me,
I'm on it.
depending on
I've already
schedule.
talked to him about it.
Diana?
Yeah.
Diana?
Next 8 weeks, 6 to 8 on Wednesday nights. It's a great program. If you're interested, or any of your family or friends,
We don't have enough to do.
get with Carl Nilsson and he'll set you up.
I'm not kidding. Hey,
All right,
I'm doing it.
We can promote that.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
So, other than that, it's business as usual.
Okay.
Okay. Tyler. So, I don't know I haven't been able to see my face all night here on the screen here, so, which has been good. Okay, it's all right.
We look
The
good.
The presentations were there, but I know Scott messed it up at the first, so anyway.
You're not all as tan as Denise, but you're all looking pretty good.
I barely recognized Denise. I was like, who is this?
So
So
Denise,
sad.
welcome back. Do you have anything for us? That's a good thing. As long as they're not living with you, you're gonna be all right. You're good.
I have so many years.
So, Tina, do you have anything for us this evening?
Nothing?
Mayor, I do have a couple things.
Oh, I was gonna have you last.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Tina
I'll
does
fl-
have something.
I'll f-
I saw you.
Well,
press
you
the button.
said nothing. I could expound, but what would you like to know?
I know you guys have been
Phone
doing stuff in the
calls,
last 2
how
weeks, so we're
many
not
I-
letting you get away with it anymore.
Okay, well, I'm signed up to help with the mock trial for the Citizens Academy on October 23rd. I've just been reappointed as the state chair for the International Municipal Lawyers Association.
Tina?
I filed our answer for our litigation with regard to the group home sober living facility yesterday. I've got another answer due tomorrow on another piece of litigation. What else do you want to know? I fielded like 5 phone calls today about a dog that had some issues in a neighborhood, and the neighborhood was upset.
That's awesome. Thank you. Well done.
Okay.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about.
And I stepped on him about 3 times while he was giving legal advice during city council meeting.
You stepped
I
on
wanted,
what?
I wanted to feel important just one time and give legal advice, but Tina would not let me have my day. So maybe soon. As soon as I get my JD, maybe
Well,
then I can talk.
I feel like we need to go back to Denise for 1 second. I mean, you talked about your kids, but finance director wise? Okay.
She hasn't been here the last 2 weeks.
When did you get back?
Saturday.
Oh, okay. Then you don't have anything, Marty.
That's why she's still got a
Denise,
tan.
just so the community knows when you say audit, can you explain what that means, what that entails?
So we're required to have a physical audit. So when the fiscal year ends June 30th, then we do up all of our cleanup work, and we do our journal entries or our audit entries, which is fixed asset capitalization, all the numerous entries that we make for accounting.
entries. And then we actually have an audit, an independent auditor will come in and audit all the financial information that we have and that I prepare. And then we'll prepare a report that's due 180 days after the close of the fiscal year.
Great.
So,
Thank you.
and that's called the CAFR, is the report that we prepare.
Great. Thank you. Which is online then, right?
Yeah, once it's prepared and adopted by the council, then it's placed online.
Okay.
So no biggie.
No.
Great.
Scott made me come back to work so I can get that done.
Marty, Public Works.
Lots going on there as well. We did have a pre-con today for the next 5-story tower with St. John Properties down there. And just to report, we have a pre-con scheduled for Iceberg next Monday. So
Whatever.
Daniel keeps promising lots of things, but we finally get it to the end here. So when we finally get him constructing on site there. So leaks have slowed. We've had a couple leaks this week, but nothing like we had last week. So that's good to hear, good to see. We lost Jake Pedersen last week. He was over in our storm drain department, so we're looking for a new storm drain employee. And we've got 7 applicants right now that we're looking at and looking to do interviews hopefully in the next week so we can get that position filled quickly. All of the projects, last week had an opportunity to go up and walk through all of the Battle Creek Springs projects, look at the progress on all of them, and everything's progressing well. And good progress happening there, and we're seeing a lot of good results. I think we're going to realize a bunch more of the spring water that's available there by redoing this. Very much needed a project to be done when you get up there and see how it was done before. Very good for 90 years ago, but different technologies and things are used today that I think help gather that and keep it a little bit cleaner and safe. So it was good to see all of that and how it's all coming together. So we have the 300 East project should be paving. So they paved from 2nd South to 2nd North with all of the patches, and they are going to be doing an overlay on that section. But first, they've got to do the patching and finishing up of the bottom lift up to 500 North from 1st North to 5th North. And that should happen this week. And then the whole overlay, as we understand it, should happen next week. So that project should be finishing up here in the next week and a half to 2 weeks. State Street Sewer, they're placing their last manhole. And hopefully they'll be pulling that. The bypass pumping that you've seen there by the Shell, the big engines there bypassing, those should all be removed hopefully by the end of the week, first of next week, and open that traffic back up, open up those lanes, so a little less traffic control there. So 11th North is going well. Concrete work started this week on all that. We're now talking with property owners, making sure we've got some impacts that we're trying to deal with on those, but we're working on lowering. We've lowered the PI line. We've got to lower the water line this next week, and I think all the storm drain improvements are in. And I think we're getting ready they're bringing in the mill machine to start pulverizing the road this week. So you're going to see a lot of impact to the road. All of the road's going to be torn up. Now it's been patched because they've been installing utility lines. Now they'll get to the big equipment and really see that being torn up and being put back together. Hopefully by the middle of October is still the schedule. October 15th is their current projection for having everything back in place on their schedules. Walker Tank, we had a final walkthrough and the punch list was given, and they're getting close to finishing that. We're just waiting on one item that was backlogged on order to get in, and then they'll be finished with that project. The landscaping on the tank, sorry. So yeah, if you had a chance to look up there, I think it looks awesome. It looks great. Very nice site in a residential neighborhood. So good to have that there. And then First East, you saw the striping on First East. So, and that they've still got to do some of the side streets, but they finally got the striping in, the crosswalks in. They're working on final concrete work.
What about First East and Center? I know we've got Jeff Horner that's concerned about that corner. How's that looking?
I talked with Jeff today,
Okay.
and reaffirmed him that they are still intending to do that corner. The concrete for Kilgore, their subcontractor, got back on the project, I believe, last Thursday or Friday. So they were waiting for their concrete guy to get back in there so they could finish that corner, finish the landscaping there. So
You say Thursday or Friday this week?
last week.
Last week.
So, but there's a lot of concrete work that they had to finish up, some driveways, some sidewalk extensions, some repair areas, but that's on their list. I talked with the contractor last Wednesday. He indicated that they're fully intending to do that. It's on the punch list, and I reassured Jeff that that's on their punch list, and they will be finishing that before they leave, is based on what everybody else has been telling me on that. So it seems like he still had an issue with some electrical stuff that I texted the contractor to let him know that he had committed to look at that because we did that a month ago. Anyways, so hopefully still need to give him a call back as soon as I hear back from the contractor and exact dates, but hopefully he's happy with that. So I guess any other questions? There's a million things happening, lots of development coming in. We're probably reviewing 10 or 15 reviews right now on different plans. And everybody's really busy, so.
Marty, all those updates you gave us on the road, are they all on the website, all those official updates of where the progress and everything?
Yes, they get updated as we go through the progress meetings each week, so I'll double check that everything's being updated, so they're supposed to be doing that kind of as we get through with our progress meetings, so.
Thanks.
Thanks, Marty.
Yep.
You know, South Main looks really good, what the state's done there on their mill and overlay.
Yeah.
They did a nice job.
Makes it a lot smoother
It's
when they
really
get in there and do that.
nice striping job. And Todd, you know, I think we got a bike lane all the way from State Street to the canal, how they've got that white line striped. It looks like a bike lane in
It's
there.
not yes. There's
Looks
definitely
like
a
a
shoulder
lumber.
there, right? And that's what I was saying is
The
that
wide
they
shoulder.
aren't going to stripe the bike lane, but it's a wide
Right.
shoulder
Really?
that'll accommodate a bike all the way up through
Yeah.
there.
From center to the
Oh,
canal?
it's,
From State
Or
Street,
that's fine,
to
State
Street
to
to the canal. Go drive that. And I
Go
said,
drive
"Well,
it."
There's Todd's bike lane.
There
right
we go.
hopefully the striping
email the
is not
citizens
like
tonight.
it was before with all the offsets. The only offset that we looked at was at 11th North, and there's a 3-foot offset there to try to accommodate a right-hand turn, but all the other striping lights up now, and I know everybody was concerned about whether it was gonna look so bad, but I think it looks awesome, so.
Great.
I mean, we've never, that's a nice road now. I got as much grief as we've gone in through for the last 2 years,
Good. That's awesome.
so.
Perfect.
Question, where is the now third 5-story building? Where is it on the property?
So, the one on North County Boulevard, the 5-story there, it's just towards I-15 from there. So,
Towards I-15.
it's to the west, sorry. The one that's right on North County,
West.
yeah.
Got it.
So it's still on that same property where the other one that's still under construction, it's gonna be right to the west of that towards I-15.
Did you guys notice that a building went up over there by Village Baker?
In about 4 hours? Yeah.
4 hours. I drove to work and I came home from work.
And it was there.
a building.
Yeah, do we know what that is?
Is that the credit union?
Macu hasn't, I don't know that we've had the pre-con on.
Is it in between R&R and Village Baker? Yes. Yeah, I think that's a credit union.
Mount America.
Mount America.
Apparently not
Mackey.
yours.
Sorry.
Daniel, you,
I want to know what he just said.
Marty stole my thunder with the Iceberg Restaurant, but that was my big news.
Is that going in with the hotel on 1300 West?
All happen.
All happen at the same time.
Nah, I got nothing. Thank you, man. Thanks for your patience.
Thanks, man.
well, Scott, we'll turn the time,
2 items.
to
Dion has got bids on Christmas lights. We had 25,000 allocated, or 20,000 allocated by the council. The intent of what we would like to do is to put lights in there that are, in essence, year-round. So there's a company that can put them in, maybe similar to how doTERRA has lights on their building, if you've seen that at night, how they can turn their lights on. In order to do that, though, we have enough funding to do one building this year, and then we could do, which we would recommend, I think, to be the fire station, and then do the police and courts building next year would be the intent.
Okay. I mean, so would we still do the other Christmas lights in the city this year?
Yes.
And so we'd like start with that building, and can you see them during the day? No. You can't see them.
What do you mean, physically see them?
Can you, because
No.
like at the library, I don't like that you can see the lights year round.
Up underneath the eaves, they're in their own channel, they're the same color as the fascia.
Yeah.
These are very professional.
LED.
But do they look
LEDs.
like Christmas lights, or do they look like a strip, like I want them to look like Christmas lights? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't
Well-
tell. You can't see them.
Well, no, I do. Like I know that doTERRA is like the lights that it just looks like the kind of a rope light. Like, are these gonna look like Christmas lights?
They're more like the rope lights. I mean,
But they're individual they're individual. They're not just a string.
What about like trees and stuff? Mm-hmm.
you can differentiate between 2 inches to 6 inches to a foot. You can program however you want. Program colors, we could do something on the 4th of July, you could do something.
So is it 20,000 per light building?
Pretty much. So it'd be
Good.
20,000 for that one, 20,000 for this one.
Can
That's
you-
leaving aside, I think, about $5,000 for some newer lights to be hung on the trees and things like that, to also kind of make that a little more robust.
Yeah.
You get on, you Google jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
And just let me reiterate the intent. Part of it is time. Once they're hung, these things are hung, we don't have to take them up and down. And the other thing is safety, with our people being up there, paying for a lift and things like that. So how they look, that's probably for you guys to decide. In regards to what we're doing, that is the intent of why we're recommending that that's what we do with the money. Dion and I were the ones that decided fire station, police station. If you guys, okay.
I mean, I'd kind of like to see an example before.
These are not the traditional Christmas lights.
I know, and I don't know. I think people are used to like kind of the historical look of where we did the old wreck and just the traditional look of Christmas lights.
We'll
And
still
so
have Christmas lights all over the place.
But that's why I'm wondering, it's going to look strange that we have two buildings that look with rope. I don't know. It's.
There you go.
That's them. Okay, that's not bad.
Sweet. Do you trust us?
I'm not going to answer that right now. I'm gonna check it out. I mean, because it's a big deal. I don't know. It's Christmas time. I don't know. I want it to look like an old-fashioned Christmas from Hallmark, and then snow comes down.
Well, so we need to know
programmable.
fairly quickly so we can get them ordered and.
Hey,
Anyway.
The intent is, Mayor, I'll let you kind of figure out how you want to handle this one, but we need to know so that we can get these things ordered and have them installed before the end of
Well,
November, so.
I'd just like to throw it out to the council that, if we're looking, we've got $20,000 budgeted. If we took some contingency money and did the other building at the same time, now, is that okay?
Well, so we don't know, because Dion and I had this discussion, and Denise was gone when we talked, but there is a couple other projects right now that are coming up that aren't funded, that might be a priority.
Okay.
And if we need to, we can bring those back to you, but I mean, we've talked about rebranding, and we don't have any funding for that, and that's going to be upwards of about the same cost. So
Well, we can wait till next year on that.
that's why we're bringing it up, is we'll have one building done, which might look a little funny this year, but by next year we'll have.
What if
the
we
next-
start with the library? Because then it wouldn't be. I don't know. We can talk. This is really a first world problem. This is
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of pressing issues going on, but
Well, and I guess in my mind is we just need to have a decision, and so how that decision has come about amongst the elected officials to give direction to us.
Okay.
That's where we're at.
Okay.
So.
All right.
okay.
Ew.
Okay, and then we can break it up. When you say for community,
City Hall, yeah.
police and fire. Okay. Okay.
The other item is we've looked at a fall cleanup. We figure the cost is roughly about $5,000 per day.
Oh, I was like,
What is that, a fall cleanup?
So we'll have dumpsters out at the pipe plant. People can bring their leaves, grass clippings, whatever at the end of at the end of the fall season for us to haul off. So our cost is getting the dumpsters, and it's also paying the tipping fees to have those dumped. We do have the employee cost of having employees out there, and that would be, more or less on an overtime basis or comp time basis, because we'd be doing this on a Friday, Saturday. We just want to kind of give you an idea. As we talked about as staff, we recommended Friday, November 1st and Saturday, November 2nd as the days to do that. Trying to catch the when the leaves fall, that we can.
And where would those be? Where would you put those? Just
Out at the pipe plant.
Do it at the same place, and then we would also just have to verify that the bins are available at that time before we could.
Is that too
secure
late,
that
though?
date, but what's that?
Is that too late?
That's
No?
typically when your leaves fall, is right around,
We don't have to do
right
it. We
around
can do it
Halloween.
before the leaves fall.
No, it makes sense to do it after
Yeah,
they fall.
Because we had that debate as we were talking about it. That we had, fall break is the 19th, 20th. We didn't want to do
Yeah,
that.
it's right after that. I love that. I think it's worth a try to see what the response is and just do a Friday and Saturday.
And that was direction of this body, so it will proceed in that manner. We will need to have a discussion. We have enough money in fund balance to cover it for this year, but if we're going to make this an annual thing, then we'll need to talk about how that rolls into the rates and what have you in order to do that. But
Okay.
if we're okay, we'll proceed in that manner. And we got to make sure the dumpsters are available. If they're not available that weekend, then we'll
Is
have
that
to.
something we can find out in the next day
Yeah,
or so?
Marty's got
Okay.
a phone call in,
Okay,
so.
thank you.
That's all I
Thanks.
have.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's it. You got anything for us on that?
No, thanks.
Eric? Diana?
I just want to say magical moments, football in our high school stadium with that sunset behind. And
Oh, yeah. The one that,
I don't
well,
know,
you had to be
did you
sitting.
place that?
Well, you had to be sitting over with
The other team?
the other team to catch that, and that was just so, they probably were sitting there, wow, we don't have this up in Rexburg.
I know.
We just got the Tetons.
But then last night with the sun setting and the park was packed. Those are just happy, happy moments for me.
Lynn? You're good. Kathy, we got two plats that need to be signed. There's a pen right there, so.
There's a pen in it. Daniel needs to sign them too.
So, anything else? Council have anything else? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make the motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? All in favor?